It's a very life-changing experience to go through just one open heart surgery. But I like to say that I've had the privilege of going through 4. And what it allows me to do is live my life one day at a time and never get ahead of myself. And I just try my best to be grateful for where I'm at and just take life one day at a time.
We did not know that Ben had a heart condition. I gave birth and the doctors came in and said, "We think something's wrong with your son."
We eventually learned that he was going to need an open heart surgery to correct transposition of the great arteries. And so on day 6, he had that first open heart surgery.
I knew very early on that I was different, but I didn't act it. So I was extremely active outside, in the yard. I played baseball my entire life, and that started at a very young age. The summer going into my sophomore year of ball is when I slowed down a bit, and so got an MRI done, and they had noticed that the leak in the aortic valve had gotten more severe.
As Ben's condition developed, we were assigned a cardiologist. He suggested maybe seeing a surgeon out in Texas by the name of Dr. McKenzie. And that's really the first time we had heard Dr. McKenzie's name. And so we developed a game plan there of getting Ben on a path and getting him ready for surgery.
I don't know how you prepare anyone at 16 for an open heart surgery. That emotional and mental fog that I was in was challenging.
Once we headed into surgery, we had a whole group of people from Georgia go out and support Ben.
There was probably 20 people out there that traveled. I realized as I got older how important it is when you go through something like that to have that support system.
Ben returned to the baseball field within 8 weeks of surgery with Dr. McKenzie in Houston, and he was able to return to normal life.
I graduated high school in 2021 and had a very happy, normal life as a college student up until I woke up at 2 a.m. completely drenched in sweat and felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. You know, my first thought was heart attack. And so I had a friend, his name's Trent Smith, and he came over to my apartment, scooped me up, and headed to the hospital in Athens.
As parents, you know, we're always waiting on that phone call, you know, in the middle of the night. They determined that it was pericarditis.
Pericarditis is the inflammation of the sac that holds the heart. And I was told numerous times that I was lucky it was not endocarditis. From the end of January until the first week of May, I had 0 chest pain. Once they came back, we alerted my cardiologist back home, and he immediately told us to report to Emory in Atlanta. I was diagnosed with endocarditis and sent into emergency open heart surgery.
After the surgery, the surgeon came in and he went through all the things that went good and all the things that he was able to do. And then he said he will never make it through another surgery again. When you've got a child that has a congenital heart defect, you know that he may need another surgery. You know, you've waited all day to see your son after a surgery like that, and then to get that news. I was just beyond broken, beyond anything I'd ever felt before.
Yeah, as a husband, I mean, you want to be able to fix things for your family and you want to be able to make things right, you know, but at that point, I didn't know what to say. And the first thing I thought about was calling an OR nurse that we had met back in Houston in 2018.
We had never called her before.
Yeah, not like this.
We kept in touch, but we had never called her.
So I was at home sitting on the couch watching TV with my husband and saw a message pop up that the family had reached out to me. And I called Kelly and I was like, okay, what's going on?
I was able to tell Amy how I felt and what they had told us.
What I said to Kelly was like, I appreciate that surgeon is telling you that they can't do another operation on Ben. But that doesn't mean that nobody can do another operation on Ben. What Ben needs is outside their skill set. But that doesn't mean it's outside the skill set of everybody in the country.
The hope that she still offered, and that as a parent was what I was wanting. I'm like, we didn't go through a surgery like this to end it with, okay, we got through the surgery, but there's no hope.
At 21, living with that kind of news, I don't even know how you're supposed to process that. And that sent me into a complete spiral. It was a very, very dark period in my life.
So when we got him home, he looked at me one night and he said, I'm never going to make it to be your age. He was in a very bad place. And I had no help as a mom. And as I'm looking, I'm trying to find somebody that would have the knowledge for a congenital heart patient. Like, I need somebody that's going to be able to come in and help us through. He's had 3 surgeries. This was unexpected. So I text the surgeon's PA. I need some information from Emory as to mental health services. Who do I contact? Who do I reach out to? What do I do? And I never got an answer.
After everything that I went through, the depression, the anxiety, the mental and emotional trauma of my surgery at Emory, there was another aneurysm forming. And so that had to be watched closely over the next few months. And I would say by October of 2024, they confirmed that I would have to have another operation. Kind of in a half-joking way, my surgeon at Emory said, well, for your case, I would send you to somebody like Dr. McKenzie, but he was retired, so I couldn't get to him.
So we demanded, we have additional opinions, and Amy reached back out to me and said, we'll take a look at it with Dr. Frazier and Dell Children's, but oh, by the way, I wanted to let you know that Dr. McKenzie was back operating again. And I'll never forget that day when we found that out.
And the weight that was lifted off my entire family's chest was something that I'll never be able to describe. I mean, it was truly so perfect of timing that we knew it came from God, that there's nobody else that could orchestrate the timing intertwined with my story other than God. And so we had Him to thank above all else. I was filled with hope and peace. And for the next few months, I spent my time preparing for this operation in January.
From the first Zoom call with McKenzie and the team to the first consult in the room, when we first got there, mental health was involved. And that was a complete 180 from what we had experienced before.
And for them to even have that available for us, the importance of what congenital heart patients go through with surgery after surgery after surgery, and nobody before it had even asked if he was okay. So to add that part into the puzzle as a mom was so assuring and reassuring. And you can fix somebody's heart, but if they're broken mentally, you still got a big hole right there.
Dr. McKenzie would eventually wind up looking at it in December and said, yeah, I'll operate.
After reviewing his case, I immediately felt confident that we could get the operation done. We could get rid of the pseudoaneurysms, but that it was going to be a very long operation. It was going to be very high risk. I also had the idea at the exact same time that I was probably going to do this over 2 days. And he was brave enough to, undertake that risk.
So our biggest prayer going into the operation was that I would have no active infection. Dr. McKenzie was checking tirelessly to see if there was any, and it turned out there wasn't. Dr. McKenzie came in and he was pleased with the operation, which is news that I needed so desperately. And I can safely say I've never felt as comfortable as I felt during that process at Dell Children's. They completely took care of me.
It was smooth. I mean, it didn't have any issues at all.
Nobody was alarmed with his heart condition. You got a feeling like they got you.
And so life after my 4th operation is even better. It's just been truly a life-changing 6 months post-op, and I just have nobody other to thank than the team in Austin, and obviously my Lord and Savior.